Beginning. They called the planet Drethar, the heart of the Predatori dominion, a world of black stone mountains, burning skies, and beasts that hunted even their own shadows. Humans were not welcome there. We were the weaker species, tolerated only under diplomatic protection. The Predatori, towering, leonine humanoids with metallic hides and glowing amber eyes, viewed us as fragile curiosities. They called us softskins. I was part of a human envoy sent to negotiate a peace treaty after the last border conflict. My job wasn't to fight, but to observe, to learn, to keep my mouth shut. But fate, or something stranger, had other plans. The first time I saw her, the predator cub, she was alone in the grand arena. The council chamber overlooked it, a vast pit lined with obsidian spikes and flaming braziers. Warriors trained below, their growls echoing through the air like thunder. And there she was, a small creature by Predatori standards, barely 4 feet tall, with faint silver fur and eyes like molten gold. She was supposed to be too young to train. Yet, when an older cub struck her, she fought back viciously, instinctively knocking him flat. The elder guards roared in approval. But her strength was raw, untrained. When she tripped and fell, laughter filled the arena. Something in me flinched. I didn't know why. Maybe it was the way she looked around, not for help, but for understanding, and found none. Before I could stop myself, I left my station and climbed down into the arena. The guards shouted, some even drew weapons. But I kept walking. The child looked up at me, blood trickling from a cut across her brow. You shouldn't be here, human, one of the warriors growled. Neither should cruelty, I said quietly. Then I knelt beside her and offered a hand. You fought well. The cub stared at me, her pupils narrowing. I expected her to snarl, or maybe strike. Instead, she touched my hand, claws grazing my skin, and whispered, "You saw me." And just like that, everything changed. Middle. Word spread fast. By nightfall, every Predatori in the citadel knew the human who had entered the arena and touched one of their cubs. Touching a predator youngling was a grave offense akin to claiming kinship. And that's exactly what she did. At dawn, when I awoke in the cold metal quarters, 2 armored warriors stood waiting outside my door. They brought me before the High Matriarch, Queen Surati-Var, ruler of the Predatori dominion, a being both terrifying and regal. Her manner shimmered like starlight caught in obsidian. "You have been chosen, human," she said, her voice reverberating like thunder. "The cub, Karen, has declared you as her kralote." "I don't know what that means," I said honestly. "It means bonded. Guardian. Blood promise." Her eyes narrowed. "A Predatori cub does not choose lightly. It is sacred law." The chamber fell silent. "I didn't ask for this," I said. "No," the queen replied, "but she did. And the bond cannot be undone." From that day forward, my life was no longer my own. Karen followed me everywhere. During the council's discussions, she sat beside me, mimicking my gestures, studying every expression. The guards sneered. The nobles whispered. To them, I was an outsider stealing sacred tradition. But to her, I was something else. She began calling me Talnar, a word I later learned meant heart-brother. Over the weeks, I saw her differently too. Her curiosity was endless. She asked why humans smiled, why we feared the dark, why our eyes held water when we were sad. "Because we feel deeply," I told her. "Predatori feel with claws," she replied. "Humans feel with everything," I said. She thought about that for a long time. Training sessions with her became my new life. She was fierce but impatient, powerful but reckless. I taught her how to balance her fury, how to think before she struck. In return, she taught me her people's code, the way of the Fang. It was more than combat, it was philosophy. Honor is not dominance. Strength is not cruelty. One night, after a brutal sparring match, she looked up at me and said, "They laugh because I am small. Because my fur is silver, not black. Silver shines brightest in darkness," I said. Her eyes widened, and for the first time, she smiled. But not everyone approved. The council saw me as a threat, a human contaminating their bloodlines, their traditions. It all came to a head during the trial of the Claw, a rite where young warriors faced beasts from the wilds of Drethar. Karen, though still young, volunteered. When the queen hesitated, Karen declared, "If I fall as my heart-brother taught me, not as a cub, but as a warrior." The council laughed. The humans in our delegation begged me to stop her. But I couldn't. Her eyes were fierce, proud. I stood in the arena again, the same place where I had first met her. The gates opened, and the creature emerged, a ravager, four-legged, armored in chitin, with a mouthful of teeth like daggers. The fight was chaos. Karen darted and clawed, her small frame a blur of silver light. But the beast was too strong. One strike sent her flying across the sand. Without thinking, I jumped the barrier. The crowd roared in outrage, but I didn't care. I grabbed a spear from the rack and stood between her and the beast. When the ravager lunged, I drove the spear through its jaw, twisting until the creature fell limp. Silence. All eyes turned to me. Karen rose unsteadily and touched my hand again, just as she had the first day. "You stood," she whispered. "You fought," I replied. And then, to everyone's shock, she lifted my hand above her head. In the Predatori language, she cried, "He is my bond, my clan, my strength." The arena erupted, not with rage, but with something else. Awe. For the first time in history, a human had stood in a predator arena and survived. Late middle. That night, the queen summoned me again. "You understand what you've done?" she asked. "Probably not," I admitted. "She marked you." With her words, with her courage. To the people, that means something profound. You are no longer an outsider, human. You are Krathar. What does that mean? Her golden eyes softened. Chosen of the Dominion. A warrior of no race, but of honor. I couldn't speak. From that day forward, everything changed. Warriors who once mocked me now bowed in passing. They offered me the salute of the Fang. When I entered the training pits, silence followed me not from fear, but from respect. Karen grew stronger, wiser. Her once silver fur now shimmered with streaks of black, a sign of maturity. And she never left my side. But peace doesn't last long among warriors. Rumors of rebellion spread, a faction of Predatori who saw the Queen's alliance with humans as weakness. Their leader, a warlord named Targan, sought to restore the purity of their kind. And his first target was Karen. Climax. It happened during the Festival of Blades, a celebration of unity between clans. I was with Karen when the first explosion rocked the citadel. Guards rushed in, shouting. Fire spread through the hall. Amid the chaos, I saw him, Targan, massive, scarred, his eyes burning like coals. He struck down two guards effortlessly and seized Karen by the throat. "Your kind pollutes our blood," he roared. "The cub chose a human, a disgrace to our name." I ran forward, unarmed. He laughed, throwing Karen aside. "You think you can fight me, soft skin?" I didn't answer. I picked up a fallen blade, a Predatori war knife, heavy and cold in my hands.